So during this session, I wanted to go ahead and share some ideas that I use in order to reach out to different students who are struggling right from the Canvas gradebook. And so if you like to use the Canvas inbox messaging system as much as I do, you probably already know about some of these tools. But if you don't, these are some great tips to help you out. So here we go. Let's get started. Number one, with respect to sorting your gradebook, remember that most of your gradebooks are already sorted automatically by name. So one of the things I'd recommend is that, number one, you move your grades over here to the left. So you can switch it to the far right by moving it to the end. That's where it is by default. Or you can click on that and move that to the front so it's right next to the name. That's handy. Number two, you can sort your grades by low to high, and this quickly identifies who is struggling in your course. And if you're like me during distance learning, you probably have about 4 or 5 students per period that are struggling. I have 4 different classes in U.S. history this semester, and so you can see that I have a variety of students that are not doing too well. But it's not so bad, I guess, and a lot of that is attributed to communication to them and reminding them on a regular basis. So here's a couple tips of things you can do. You'll notice that in this column here there are quite a few zeros. So if I were to remind them, wanted to send a reminder message, I can do that straight from the gradebook. I click on Message Students Who, and if they haven't submitted anything yet, that automatically pops up from this drop-down menu. Or if I wanted to pinpoint people who scored a 0, if it's already graded, I can put the number 1. Anything less than that is obviously a 0, so those students are going to show up here. If I wanted to eliminate a message to a particular person, I could just X them out and it would not send them a message. So you can just, that subject line of the new message would be appearing here, and then you can send them a reminder to do it. If I sent that out, it would automatically go to their Canvas message inbox, and they are going to get it right away, especially if they have downloaded the Canvas app to their phone, which I mentioned at the beginning of the semester that especially during our quarantine with distance learning, that is the best way to stay on top of things. So that works across the board in every subject if they have the app. They do not check their student email on a regular basis, so this is the best method to communicate directly with students. Just ask for a response back and you'll get messages sent back to you. So one of the other ways that you can manage these are, let's see, if you wanted to also reach out to your positive students, you could say if you did great, then say way to go, and you could send them all a message at the same time. So it works in the reverse as well. So if they scored more than, say, 19 on this assignment, then everybody that got full credit, you could send a quick way to go on that. Moving on, the next step, I'm going to set up a split screen scenario so that you could send a general message, not just about one assignment, but to remind them of you're obviously struggling at this point, and I'm reaching out to you to remind you, please let me know what your game plan is, kind of a message to get moving. This is your late work deadline, give them feedback on that, and that's what I do on a fairly regular basis, especially at the end or as we get to the end of each learning unit. That is a good way to go. So keep your lines of communication open with that. So here's what that would look like using the inbox system from Canvas. One of the biggest tips I can give you is try to keep all your communication to students in one place, in a spot where they will actually respond to you. Very few students at Edison, or anywhere in our district for that matter, are going to respond to a student email because, let's face it, they don't read their email. They also, most of them don't download Parent Square. So the best way to contact your students without having to make a phone call is to send them a Canvas inbox message. So when you record or compose a new message, all you have to do is select the course and then go down to here, select that course, and then you can start entering a student's last name, and that name will pop up and you can send them a message. If you wanted to get a list of students who were struggling, you could do a split screen scenario. I use this the tab scissors and tab glue extension from Chrome, and it splits my screen right away, and you can see that I have an active window for my gradebook on this side, and over here I have the message. So it gives me a handy list of who the struggling students are. I start typing in a few names, and I look up that student's name. If I wanted to include that parent as well, if they have a couple names listed, maybe one as an observer, that's pretty handy too. So I include them in the message just so I can get the point across. So if I have a bunch of different recipients of a message, then I can say in danger of receiving an F at the semester. And this is live, so I'm not going to send this out, but I could give them some words of encouragement down here in the body of the message to get on it, and the deadline of what they have to do. And after that, make sure I check this box off right here to send them each an individual message so that it doesn't end up as a group message. That would be bad for obvious reasons. So when I hit send, it would automatically send them an immediate message. So that pretty much completes the exercise here. If you have any other ideas, feel free to share them in the comments section below, or obviously when we're doing this live as a PD session, this is now your chance to share with us during our Zoom call. So what's on your mind? Have a great day. One other thing that I forgot, the cool thing about using tab glue is you can pop that straight back to one tab, and then I can also go back to my records. And the other great thing about keeping all my communication in one spot with my students is that I can look them up either by first name or last name, and I can see all communications from that one student. And so if I were communicating with this particular student, I could go back and look at their messages back to me, or the ones I sent them. And it's all in one place, so you never have to worry about going back through your email and messing up your inbox. All right, so hopefully that helps out. And let's open the floor to new discussion. Thanks.